Hi, and welcome to Moresby. In this video I'm going to give you a general explanation of your Moresby assessment results, and I'll explain how to make the most of your Moresby account. When you first completed the assessments, you went to moresby.com and clicked on Sign Up. Now you have your results, I'm going to click on Log In. From the home page, go to About Me. This is where you'll find the results of all the assessments, the timed aptitudes and the untimed questionnaires. The aptitude assessments are presented first. And you can see the students' verbal, numerical and abstract scores in orange, with the spatial and mechanical results shown in green. The different colours simply indicate two different distinct groupings. The orange scores relate to your theoretical learning aptitudes or abilities, and there is a relationship between performance on these and performance academically, but it's not that strong a relationship. The green bars reveal your practical abilities, and the pattern of scores within each group indicates the types of careers you could be suited to. Now, below the graph, there is a full text description of the pattern of your scores and what they suggest about the kind of career areas which might suit you. The links on the right hand side give more information if required. So what do the results mean? Well, this explains that your results are compared with others in your age group, but it's important to focus on what you do best rather than simply looking at the level of your scores. What's measured? This explains what each assessment measures, and note that it's common to assume that numerical reasoning measures maths potential, but in fact it's measuring confidence in handling numerical data and quantitative thinking, which is relevant for careers in commerce, business and finance. And what is the range at the end of each bar for? Well, this explains the margin for error in these types of assessments. It simply means on a different day you might get a slightly different result. Now, if you've told us that you have a specific learning need or a health issue when you signed up for the assessment, this will be noted on the right of the aptitude screen. And it will be sensible to discuss with an advisor how your scores have been affected, as Moresby doesn't adjust any of your scores for specific learning needs or health issues. Equally, there'll be a description, as we have here, if there's something noteworthy about the approach we felt you took to the assessments. Finally, if you told us that English is not your first language when you registered, there'll be a link here for you to complete an optional English vocabulary test. If you do, we'll use those results to adjust your scores as appropriate in an attempt to remove the impact of lack of vocabulary on your results. Now, moving across the top here, I'm going to start with interests. This is where the results of the aspirations questionnaire are presented. The length of the bars show your strength of interest in different categories, and there is a full interpretation underneath. The blue bars relate to your interest in working directly with people. The red bars show an interest in a job where the focus is on handling information, and the green bars relate to the more practical careers dealing with real things that can be seen and touched. You can select any of the links on the left for a description. If you declared any special interests, they appear on the right. And remember, your Moresby assessment can't measure talent in sport, music, language, performing arts or art and design. So if you wish to pursue a career in one of these areas, you should consider realistically your likelihood of success, maybe by talking to someone who knows you and your talents well, and also have a backup plan. And do look at the World of Work chart. It shows more specific areas of interest which you might want to consider. For our sample student here, the advice and help segment and the science segment are the strongest. If you click on one of these, you can have a look at the subcategories. So this individual seems more interested in training and well-being than in any other area. Now, before you go any further, do check to see if you can see a link between your main interests and the pattern of your aptitude scores, i.e. your strengths or natural abilities. For most students, there usually is a match between their aptitude profile and one or more of their main interest areas. If there's a mismatch, that's something you need to consider carefully. In this student's case, his interest in science matches well with the high abstract and high numerical scores. This pattern is related to success in science and to some extent technical commercial areas. So the science interest would match up with this quite nicely. It suggests the student would be well suited to absorbing scientific knowledge and then using this to advise people. This might be in sport, a specialist area of interest for them, or in a wide range of other associated areas. Now don't forget, you can retake the aspirations questionnaire at any time. It will simply overwrite the earlier information and quite possibly change the career suggestions which are made for you. Now let's have a look at work style and workplace. The results in both these tabs arise from your answers to the aspirations questionnaire. In work style, you can see your preference for the type of organisation and type of role that you'd prefer to work in. You can see that this student would prefer to work for a smaller rather than a larger organisation and is equally happy working as a leader or as a team member. In workplace, you can read about your working environment preferences. We move on next to the personality area, where you can find a summary of your responses to the personality questionnaire. Personality looks at the way you think, feel and behave, and it's helpful to consider this as you choose your career path. Just check that you agree with the comments about yourself under the 4 scales, and the key features are shown top right here. There are 81 different short descriptors, and this person has got the scientist. There's a much fuller description down the bottom. Interestingly, we've seen so far that this personality is likely to fit with both the interests and the aptitudes of this student. Remember, you can reset the questionnaire at any time. Now, the priorities questionnaire is optional, so you may not have answered it yet. It explores where your preferences and motivations lie, and it will help you to consider what's important to you and what gives you job satisfaction. To answer the questionnaire, simply select the link on the right of the page. This individual has already responded to this questionnaire and they can retake it at any time. Learning style draws on various aspects of your profile, and scroll down to the paragraph under the diagram to find out how you learn best. Then consider how understanding your preferred learning style might influence your choice of course or career. Study interest is another optional questionnaire aimed mostly at students who are considering higher education. If you're interested in the university route, Year 12 is a great time to answer this questionnaire, but it's quite common to answer it before and then refresh your ideas when you hit Year 12 because you can retake it. The degree subjects that the student is interested in are listed here in order of preference. Okay, so far we've looked at a student's profile in About Me. Now let's look at their career suggestions in My Choices. So under My Choices Careers, there are a dozen careers listed for you that best match your blend of aptitude, interest and personality. And these are set at an academic attainment level, which is either generated by the system or you change. And feel free to change this if it doesn't feel appropriate. When we look at the careers, they're presented in panes, or you can look at them in list view. So what do you think about your career suggestions? Does the list confirm your current ideas, or does it suggest new ideas? What appeals to you and why? Do you favourite any careers that interest you? You simply click on the heart button to favourite them, and they'll appear in the shortlist up the top. If there are careers which are not on the list that you're interested in, you can see how well they match you in Moresby's eyes by either searching for them or searching for them via a broad career family. When we click on a career, we have an overview, we have some media so you can watch people talking about their jobs for a couple of minutes. There's information on how to become whatever it is, a biologist in this case, and there's a visual on typical routes to entry to that career. If we click on the information sign, it will tell you the thicker the arrow, the more normal the route into that education. But there are, of course, pathways as well. There are a series of related careers, and there's also a whole series of resources. These go from professional bodies to national websites to information on pay, etc. Now I'll just close this down. Within this listing, if you change the academic attainment you expect, and we can always change it back, let's say here we go down and say after school this person wants to go into full-time employment, a whole new range of careers would appear which are approachable without any higher level formal qualifications. Take this back to degree. Something else you can do is you can change the underlying algorithm which drives the career suggestions. So you may, for example, want to focus on your specialist interests. We know this person is interested in sport. We click on this and a few sports options are pulled up into the list or higher in the list. For now, I'll just turn that off and focus on interests. Now, one thing I would always say is that with Moresby, we're hopefully looking for interests lining up with underlying strengths. It's not a perfect system, but a really good thing to do is to click on the interests and see what the careers are like, and then click those off and click on the aptitudes. And when you do that, you get a good feel of how close the listing is when you focus on one or the other. And if there's a lot of difference between them, that's something that's worth exploring. For most people, there's not a huge amount of difference. A few new careers coming in, but not an enormous number. Now there is a progress chart. If we click on this, it will allow you to create goals and identify when you have completed that goal. There's a wizard here, and that allows you to set targets and attain them over time. There's also an activities option where the school can set activities for you, or you can log your own. And the kind of activities we might be talking about might be things like you want to find out about hospital careers at a careers expo, or look at sports science work closely. And you can set yourself some targets there. And finally, there is a model of transferable skills which make you more employable, and some schools will integrate this system within Moresby. Finally, there is a locker. The locker is where you download a PDF report, which you can also do top right near your settings cog. Settings is where you would change your personal information, your email address, move your results from one school to another, change your password, tell us about health, etc. If the school is running formalised interviews and the careers advisor writes up notes for you, they will appear here. If you have less formal meetings, you can put meeting notes in here. You can store your own personalised notes in here. And finally, there is a locker where you can upload files, and these will be held within the system. So this might be an attempt at a CV that you're pulling together. It might be some documentation you've done in careers lesson, or something that's come up in a lesson at school. You might take a photo of it and upload it to Moresby, so you've got all things careers related in one place. Finally, if you want to, you can, from the home screen, scroll to the bottom, and you can invite a parent or guardian to access your results. You don't share your password with them, and they can make no lasting changes to your results. Now, don't forget that you have a login for life with Moresby, as long as you visit the site every 5 years. We hope you find it's a useful resource as you plan your future.